Good day everyone, you're welcome to CAD Baron. So for this particular class, I'll be showing us how to do this particular AK-47. So it's just for us to learn how to use CAD, so just to show us how we can be able to use CAD and understand how we can include all these features. Like I always do, please, I'll tell you guys, let's see how, I'll tell you guys, if you're far from the computer, if you're far from SolidWorks, it's also going to be far from you. So this particular job is not an assemble, it's a step-by-step work that we can do. Everything will start from sketch. So from sketch we proceed to here. So I'll be showing you guys the breakdown. From sketch we move to this, move to this, move to this. So it requires time, detailing. So it requires a lot of time, as you can see. So as we keep on doing different things, you get to add different features and all the rest. So it's not something, if you're tired or exhausted, you can pause the video and see how you can go through it later. So let's just get started. But it's something that you can achieve with constant practice and constant time, but it's time consuming. Okay guys, as first click on file, click new, then I click on parts, I click OK. So I'm going to use a right plane and I click on sketch. Then I'll come to line. I'll achieve from here. So I'll get something like this, then like this, then this. Tap escape. I use line. I click. I come up. This. I come to 3-point arc. I use a 3-point arc. I click from this and I click this. I assume you all know how the 3-point arc works. So something like this, you adjust it. I zoom in so you can see it. I go over it again. I click this. Sorry, I'm not supposed to use a line for this. I'll use a spline, so I'll escape. I'll go over it again. I click on this and I click 3-point arc. I'll click here. Watch please. And I'll adjust it. So I get something like this. Then I'll use a spline. So I'll click from here and I'll click this. Tap escape. So I've been able to get something like this. Now, as I'll always say, whenever you want to do a sketch, dimension the longest first. So I click here 1 and I'll click here. So I'll bring it out. That will be 248. I'll dimension it 248. Like to dimension the longest so that every other dimension can be able to fall in place. Then I want to create a relationship here. I'll click here, I'll hold my control and I'll click here. So I'll see I'll make it tangent so there is this smooth curve. I'll come to smart dimension and I'll click here 107. Okay, you see sometimes you get to see that the job like adjust on its own. You can try to see how you can be able to like see how you can go to the points and adjust them to look like how you want it to be. So what's the next dimension? I'll click on smart dimension and I'll click here. I'll click 46. So I have something like this. Then what's the next? I'll click on this line. I'll bring it out. I have 128. So I have something like this. Then I'll click on this. I'll click here. The radius is very big, so I'll use 80. It's 80. So I have something like this. Then if there's something missing again for this angle, I have to engage on this angle. The angle is 78. So this is it. Then let's see for this if I can impute. I want to make it 60. Oh wow. So I'll just tap Ctrl 7 because I don't like this. Is not the direction it's supposed to look like. This is not the direction it's supposed to look like. I'll delete that angle I imputed. This is not the position, or this, how will I say, this is not how it's supposed to look like. So because one thing you should know is whenever you're doing a design, you should put in mind that you have a shape that you are trying to achieve, like a particular shape you're trying to achieve. So this is how it's supposed to look like this, something like this. So this particular, see, if we have gotten to this particular point, so if we have gotten to this particular point, let's see how we can be able to. So if you have gotten to this particular point, it's good. So if we have gotten to this particular point, we have been able to do the sketch to this particular point. The next thing we have to do is come to features, click on features, then click on extrude boss base. Click on extrude boss base, we'll have something like this. We'll be able to have something like this. Come to blind, you click on mid plane, then the thickness is 40, so we should have something like this. So with this, then you check. With this, we have been able to create the first part of the job, and this shows that we have been able to start something, as you can see. Okay guys, so after getting using the extrude box, like to get the thickness, after I've been able to do this particular one, what's the next step? Since I use the right plane, I'll click on right plane, so the job will be looking in the middle. I'll click on right plane and I'll click on sketch. So if I click on right plane and I click on sketch, first you have to know what you want to do. So what's the next step? I'll try to see how I can be able to sketch what I want. So I'll come from this particular point here, I'll move front, like straight, make sure it's straight, then I produce this, like this, and something like this, then I'll also move like this. Okay, so after doing that, what's the next step? I'll use this line, from here, I'll click here, then I also move a little, then I take it up. Then I'll use a 3-point arc. This 3-point arc, I'll click something like, click here, and I'll click here. Then the next step is using a line. So I'll come to this particular point, I'll do something straight again, I'll get a straight line. Please watch, there's something you have to understand. If it's not moving in the manner you want it, you can always feel free to adjust so that you can be able to get a perfect job for yourself. So if I have something like this, I'll use my line again, I'll click, take it up like this, and I have something like this. Then I can use this to bring it down. Then I move with my 3-point arc. So I click here and I click here and I have something like this. So I've been able to do something like, but it's not a perfect shape now. So I have to see how I can be able to adjust them or put the dimensions. Like for example, I have to click here, hold control, then I click here, then I can make it tangent. So I end up having something like this. So I can try to see how I can be able to adjust it. Then I can also come here, I click here, hold control, and I click here. I can also make it a tangent. So we can be able to achieve something like this. Then the next step, I come to this particular point. So I try to see how I can be able to do this. Then, as I would always say, we dimension the longest part first. I click here and I click this line. So this line, I'm going to dimension it 284. So I'm going to dimension that 284. Then I'll dimension from this point to this point, that's 230, 230. So certainly to scatter depending on how you arrange your work, so you can then arrange it. I can also decide to click here and horizontal, so to make it look to be perfect, make it horizontal. Then the next step is for me to impute the different dimensions. So I come to this particular point, smart dimension, I'll click here and I'll make it 36. Then I'll come here, I'll make here also 36. Then I'll come here, I'll dimension here 41. Okay, so you just have to adjust it till you get whatever you're looking for. Then I will have to adjust a dimension here. Click on smart dimension, I'll dimension here 10.24. okay, escape. Still trying to see how I can be able to adjust it. It must not be perfect, but whenever you put your dimensions, you now see that every other thing will be falling in place, so you just keep on dimensioning. So we now have something like this. Then I'll come to this part, dimension, I'll dimension here 29.50. So I've been able to dimension there 29.50. Then this dimension, I'll come here, I impute 3. Very small. So I've been able to, then you can see that it has been able to, it has gone to its own area. So I have to see how I can still bring it to be on track. So if I'm making any mistake, it goes up, then there's this little curve, something like this. Okay, so with this now, I'm comfortable with this. Dimension. So what's the next step, or what do? I come to features, click on features, I click on extrude box again. Now if you observe into the middle, that's the preview. If you observe it's in the middle, watch the middle, then I click check. I have something like this. So I've been able to do something like this, as you can see. So if I tap my Ctrl 7, I've been able to get something like this. So after this now, I will now proceed to doing another feature again. Okay, so since you have been able to do this particular section, there was something I observed. So which is, if I click here, it's like as though I'm clicking the entire work. Or if I click here, it's as though I'm clicking the entire job. Meaning, if I want to apply material, if I want to apply an appearance, it will affect everywhere. So what we have to do to stop that is to come here, to click here, you click on edit feature, click here, edit feature. Then see this area they said merge result, you uncheck. They're not merging it, so that there should be a demarcation like between these two. So you click here. Listen. So we're not merging it. So even if we come here, we say edit feature, and we are, let's say, up to surface, we click up to surface here. Watch please. Then direction 2, we still come here and say up to surface, which is this. Like even if it's matching up to surface, we still do not merge it like this. It's not merged, so it's checked like this. So if I click here, it's different from when I click here. So I can come here and add a material for this, like this. Now let me show you. If I come here now, I click on this, I look for a material. Let's say organic, wood, or I use this, Ctrl Z. So for this one, I can come here, there was a mistake, I click appearance, I remove this. So if I click this now, I come to this. So we have to look for the perfect match for this. So if I have something like this, then I want to use a metal for this now. I click here and I come here. So I go to metal, it's black, so I can use this. You can see now. So this entire body now, this body is supposed to carry this color. Do you get it now? So with time you can get to see that the magazine is coming up, like sorry, the AK-47 is coming up. So if I click here and I click on sketch, I use a line, corner rectangle, I come to this point, 1, I come to this point, 2, I use dimension, I click here, 230.94, enter. I come here, 230.94. If I have something like, then I call my dimension here, from here to here, I dimension it 4.87. I come here from here to here, 4.87. So I have something like this now. And what's the next step? Since I've been able to create something like this, then I'll click here, then I'll go to features, then I'll click on extrude cut. So you can see what's the depth I want to use. I want to use a depth of 31. I'll click this. Listen, with time I will add colors to all this. So if I've been able to get this, then I'll try to see how I can add features, which is fillet. I want to do a fillet. I'll come to fillet. I'll fillet this area 10, and I'll come here. I'll fillet here also 10. I check. So that's why sometimes it's advisable that when you are done with the work, then you can now add your appearance because of all this. Then the next again, I'll come to fillet. I click on fillet. I'll click here individually, please. Okay, so you can just click on the entire face. Make the radius 5. Check. So don't forget this one, the appearance is organic wood. I wish, okay, that for that one is metal. We use wrought black. So this, you have to see how you can be doing them individually. For this now, 1, you hold, click. Okay. Then the material, click. So it will all take the shape of this material. Then you come here, the same principle, click. Then this. So we have been able to get this particular job like this. Then we come to fillet. All our fillet for this one, come here. Then organic wood. I wish I'm not making the same mistake. So okay, it's okay. It's not exactly the material. So we have been able to get this particular region now. So we just have to continue the other part. So since we have been able to get this, then we will now proceed. Okay, So after we have been able to get that done, the next step we'll use a right plane again. Right plane, just click on right plane, then you have something like this, as you can see. And I come to this area and I do this sketch. I do something like this. So what's the next step? I come to line. I start from this point here to this point and produce to this point, and I come down this point. So I'll zoom in so you guys can see it properly. So I'll try to see if I can bring this out, or bring it out a little. Then I come to 3-point arc. I click here, 3-point arc. So I click from this point to this point to see if I can get something like this. Then I move it up a little. Okay, something like this. Then I use this line. I join it together. It's not looking straight, you understand? It's not looking straight. So I can click here and make it horizontal. So I have something like this. Then watch. I click here, I hold my control, keep my hand on my control key, then I click this. Then I click on tangent. Do you get what? Do you understand? Just click here, hold your control. So let me do Control Z. Watch. It's not like, I don't like it like that. So I click here, I hold my control, then I click here. Then I click on tangent. So I have something like this now. So I have to see how I can be able to dimension it. Watch. Please watch. So I come to dimension. I click here. I dimension it 44.01. Enter. And okay, watch please, watch. And I also I'll click on this. I hold my control and I click on this line. Make it tangent again. You see? I just click and hold the control. And I dimension. So I click here. I'll put a radius of 2. Enter. So you see the shape now. So I'm good to go. Now what's the next step? I'll come to features and I'll click on extrude. Watch please. So immediately I go, then I'll rotate it now so I can see what I'm doing. Then put it on mid plane. Mid plane is already on mid plane. Then what's the length? I'll make the length 45, and I click OK. Are you guys seeing? As I told you now, I've been able to get this particular area. We'll make a color of metal, use a metal color. Then the next step, still on my right plane, I click sketch. I'll try to see how I can be able to get another sketch. I'll use line this time. So I'll click from here to here, to here, and here. Then let's see how I can be able to dimension it. So I'll click on smart dimension. I'll click here and input 16.50. Then I'll click here. Let it be 13.27. See, sometimes to scatter, as I told you earlier, you just click at any point and see how you can adjust it. So something like this is okay. Just adjust it to whatever you have in your mind or the mental picture you have. So I'll go to dimension again. I'll click here. It's going to be 6.39. Then I'll click here. It's going to be 6. Okay, you can't dimension that because we've already dimensioned the total length. So this is supposed to be 6 point. Okay, correct. So if you have been able to do this particular dimension, now watch please, watch. So I'll click on features, then I'll click on revolve. You can see revolve. Then I'll click here. Are you guys seeing it? So I'm expecting to have something like this. Are you guys seeing it? So if I click Ctrl 7, I should be having something like this. So it's just a step-by-step process so that you can be able to get your job done. It's not something very hard. Okay. So since we have been able to do this particular work, next thing we are going to do is we click on right plane, click sketch. So we have something like this. Now let's see how you can be able to get this particular job done. So if you're done this, you have clicked on the right plane. The next step, let's see, come to line, watch please, just follow the process. So from this point now, we project this, watch, I project this, let me zoom in so you can see, I project this, watch please, I project this, I project this, and I come here, I project something like this, watch please, and I come, I use a spline, not a center point or this thing. I project something like this, and something like this, just a spline now. You know how spline works, it's not perfect. The spline is not usually perfect. So and I come, it's not a just a curve, and I use this to project something like this, then I join it with this. So it's closed now. You get, it's closed. So you might not get it the first time, but just see how you can be able to get it. So it's closed. Then the next dimension, I come here to 112.59. okay, I click here, I dimension it 69.23. so I get this. Then I come here, I dimension this 119.68. then I come here 42, and I dimension here also, I dimension here 2.97. so I've been able to get this particular job like this, so I'm okay with it. So what's the next step? If you have been able to put all these dimensions, so just sometimes you can pause the video to be able to get this. So I click on extrude box, I click OK. So I click, it's automatically it knows. So what's the thickness? What's the thickness? So I'm going to use, so this is okay for me, 45, sorry. I click OK. 45, they say 45. Am I merging it? No, I don't want to merge it, because I want to give him a different appearance, you understand? And I see this work now, I'm not merging it. So I want to give him a different appearance. What appearance do we use for the other one? Is it polish wood? So okay, but it doesn't look the same. It doesn't look the same. Let's see. Is it this wood? Is it this one? Okay. So we're trying to get. We're making progress. Then I'll also move to my fillet. I'll click fillet. Now click here. You get. So I have to make it a curve. So for it to make it a curve, I go right again, I click fillet. Like we have different types of fillet. So this is the fillet I want to use. So I want to watch please. I'll click here for this second. I'll click the second point, and I'll click here. Then for this third, I'll click here. So it gives me that curve I want. So I click OK. So I have something like this. So that's why we don't add the colors when we are still on the job. So I click here, I come to this appearance, and I'll click here. So I've been able to get this now, as you can see. Then for this particular ones, it's metal now, so revolve. I want to know the next one, which is this. So I'll click here, I'll go to metal, then this is a wrought iron now. I'll click here. So I've been able to. So this is what I've been able to do. You get. So it's just a step by step. You might not get all. You get to practice. So we're trying to see how we can do an AK-47. You get this. So then after this, we proceed to doing the next thing. Okay. So since we have been able to do this particular work, next thing we are going to do is we click on right plane, click sketch. So we have something like this. Now let's see how you can be able to get this particular job done. So if you're done this, you have clicked on the right plane. The next step, let's see, come to line, watch please, just follow the process. So from this point now, you project this, watch, I project this, let me zoom in so you can see. I project this. Watch please. I project this. I project this. Then I come here. I project something like this. Watch please. Then I come. I use a spline, not a center point or this one. I project something like this. And something like this. Just a spline now. You know how spline works. It's not perfect. Spline is not usually perfect. So then I come. It's not a just a curve. And I use this to project something like this. Then I join it with this. So it's closed now. You get it's closed. So you might not get it. You might not get it the first time, but just see how you can be able to get it. So it's closed. Then the next dimension, I come here to 112.59. okay, I click here, I dimension it 69.23. so I get this. Then I come here, I dimension this 119.68. then I come here 42. and I dimension here also. I dimension here 2.97. so I've been able to get this particular job like this, so I'm okay with it. So what's the next step? If you've been able to put all these dimensions, so sometimes you can pause the video to be able to get this. So I click on extrude box, I click OK. So I click, it's automatically it knows. So what's the thickness? What's the thickness? So I'm going to use, so this is okay for me. 45, sorry. I click OK. 45, they say 45. Am I merging it? No, I don't want to merge it, because I want to give him a different appearance, you understand? And I see this work now, I'm not merging it. So I want to give him a different appearance. What appearance do we use for the other one? Is it polish wood? So okay, but it doesn't look the same. It doesn't look the same. Let's see. Is it this wood? Is it this one? Okay. So we're trying to get. We're making progress. Then I'll also move to my fillet. I'll click fillet and I'll click here. You get. So I have to make it a curve. So for it to make it a curve, I go right again. I click fillet. Like we have different types of fillet. So this is the fillet I want to use. So I want to watch please. I'll click here. For this second, I'll click the second point, and I'll click here. Then for this third, I'll click here. So it gives me that curve I want. So I'll click OK. So I have something like this. So that's why we don't add the colors when we are still on the job. So I click here, I come to this appearance, and I'll click it. So I've been able to get this now, as you can see. Then for this particular ones, it's metal now, so revolve. I want to know the next one, which is this. So I'll click here, I'll go to metal. Then this is a wrought iron. I'll click here. So I've been able to. So this is what I've been able to do. You get. So it's just a step by step. You might not get all. You get to practice. So we're trying to see how we can do an AK-47. You get this. So then after this, we proceed to doing the next thing. Okay, so since we have been able to get this particular side, now I want to sketch an interface here. We just want to create a little interface here. So I'll click here and I'll click sketch. So I have something like this. Then you have to zoom in. You have to zoom in properly so that you can be able to get used to the interface. So watch this. So I'll come to line. I'll come to this area. I'll click here. I'll click here. And I'll produce this line one. Click escape. We are going to see how you are going to be very detailed about this particular. You're going to be very detailed, and it takes time. This area takes time. Click escape. Then the next thing, I'll click on smart dimension. I'll click here and I'll click 9.43. Then I'll also come here, dimension this 9.43. Then now I want to create a relationship. Like the relationship I want to create is to show you, I want everything to be in the middle. Like any drawing I'm doing should be in the middle. So I'm going to create a relationship, since because I'll be watch. So I'm going to hold this line, I click Control, hold this, and I'll click on this line, so still holding my control, and I'll click symmetric. So it's going to be in the middle. Everything I'm going to do is going to be in the middle. Now watch, please watch. I'm going to create a little line. Watch, I'm going to create a line, project a line down, very small line. I tap escape, I come to this area, I'm going to project a line upward, I tap escape, then I come to dimension. So I'm going to dimension this small line, I'm going to dimension it 0.94 if I'm not mistaken, 0.94 if I'm not mistaken, 0.94. okay, so I'm going to come here, dimension is 0.94 if I'm not mistaken. So since I've been able to do that, then I'll create I'll use a 3-point arc. I'll come here, I'll produce something like this. Please watch. One, I'll come to this area, I'll produce something like this. You see this line, they are both together. I'll also do something like this. Watch please, this. Now watch, then I'll come here, I'll produce a line. Watch please, I'll click a line, project it out, I'll click escape, I'll click on line, I'll come here, I'll project a line like this, escape. So watch, I'm going to see how I click here, hold my control, and I'll click here, I'll make it tangent. I'll click here, hold my control, and I'll make it tangent. So I've been able to make it tangent. Then mind you, I'm going to say I'll drag this a little, drag it a little, and also drag this a little, so I can be able to get what I want. Then mind you, also please, I'll come to smart dimension, I'll click here, and I'll click here. So I want to have a dimension of 11, like a distance of 11.47. Then after doing that, I'll come and dimension here, I'll dimension the 2, enter 2, I'll come to this area, I'll dimension it 2. So I've been able to do this. I've been able to get this. Then the next step again is to see how I can check the distance for this. So the distance for this will be 28.76. I come here again, 28.76. and after that I'll come to this line, I'll click, I'll project it up. Okay, I'm going to know, first of all, I'm going to create that curve first, that 3-point curve. I'm going to create that 3-point curve. You click on your 3-point arc. After you click on the 3-point arc, you click on it, then you move a little, you get something like this. You come to this area, you get something like this again. Then you project that small line again as we did earlier with that small line. You come to this area, click on sketch, project the small line again. So I've been able to get this. So you click here, hold control, click here, and click on tangent. Then you click here, hold control, you click here, you still make it tangent. So I've been able to get this. Then now let's see if we can do this. Click here, hold control, click here, make this one tangent. Then you click here, hold your control, you also make here a tangent. It's not really easy, but it requires time and patience. So I'll zoom out, then I'll come to line, I'll click here, I'll project the line, escape, I'll come to this point, line again, I'll click here, I project the line, escape. If it's not looking straight, you click and you make it horizontal. So it wasn't looking straight, that's why I did that. Then I have to know the distance. I have to also know the distance for that line. That first line, the distance is 22.03. So this distance is 22.03. Distance is come here again, 22.03. I get this done. So 22.03. I'm done with that. So in the next step, you have to do whatever you've done on this area, you have to do it again. So let's see how we can get that job done. So after that, I project a small line again. As you all know, I project a small line. I take it out, escape, and take it out. Then I come again. I project a small line. I click on line. I project a small line outward. Click OK. Then you dimension this line. Dimension this line 0.94. Okay. Then you come in, you zoom in again, 0.94, enter. Then let's see how we do the same process again. So click here, get this, adjust, come to 3-point arc, the same process. So I've been able to get that. I'll come use line, project one, escape. So click here and make one, then come to line again, you click here, you project, escape. So if I click here, I make it like this. So I have something like this. So what's the next step? So I'll click here, I hold control, and I click here, and I click on tangent. I click here, I click here, and I click on tangent. So I have something like this. So this is good. Then I click on dimension. So if I click here and I click here, I'll click 11.47 to go up. We have to see how you can be able to adjust it. Wow, what are we having here? So let me dimension this so I can see what I'm doing. So I'll click here, I'll make it 2. Wow, why am I having this? So I'll try to see how I can make it fitting. I'll try to dimension it to make it fitting. So you can, no, there's something wrong. So but let me rectify it. Just delete this. Yes, delete this. Then we're not going to use the same distancing. Sorry. So click delete this. So we'll bring this down a little. Then 3-point arc again. 3-point arc. So we're not going to use the same distancing. Sorry. Let's see how we can get this done. So I'll bring it down a little. No, okay, not this. I'll delete this, and I'm also going to delete this. Then I'll come to this area, come to this 3-point arc, I'll click here, I'll project it out a little, then I'll project my line, I'll bring it out. So after projecting the line, the next thing I will use a 3-point arc again, a 3-point arc, and here 3-point arc. You bring this one, get this, then I use my line, bring this out. I'll just bring this out. I'll get this, then I'll join it to this and this. Get something like this. The main thing is let's see how we can be able to get this job done. Okay, so if we get it like just the same process, just want to create that little opening. So the same process, just the same step, just get something like this. So this area is literally a little bit exhausting. So the same process, we have been able to see how we have. So we can come here, dimension this. I'll dimension this 28.97. I'll come here, dimension this 28.97. You see the issue again. So This is not what I want. I'll click and I'll delete it. This is not what I want, so I'll click and I'll extend this to this area. Then I can put my 3-point arc. So I'll put my 3-point arc, do something like this, something very small. I'll zoom in so I can see it properly. I'll come here, I'll click on this line and I bring it out. So it's not looking straight anyway, so I can just click on the line and click vertical, so it's going to look straight. Then I click here and I click hold control, I click here and I click on my tangent. I should be able to have something like this. Then I click here and I hold my control and also click here and I click on tangent. Let's see. Okay, I've been able to get something like that. Then, so what's the issue? It's not perfect. It's not looking very perfect for us. It's not looking very perfect for us because there are some issues. So let's see if I click here and I click here. Let me see if I click there, make it tangent. Oh, I spot something, so I'll click on Ctrl Z. I spot something. So the little one I've gotten, let me see how I can be able to work on that. 28 points. Okay, I'm comfortable with this. So I'm comfortable with this. So after doing this, if you have gotten to this stage, you have done a good job. So click check, go to features, go to extrude cut. Then we're just going to cut through. Just cut it so that you can rest. Just cut it. We're going to cut through, then cut through, check. Okay, so this is the question they will ask you. Say okay, so you have something like this. Oh my god, thank god. So I've been able to get this. Then after this, I'll go to a fillet. So I'm going to do a fillet, and I'll click here. There's like this whole area, this area. Then I rotate a little so you can be able to get the magazine properly, the gun, sorry, the AK-47. And I also click here, like I've been able to get this. Then I'll click OK. So as I told you earlier now, so that as soon as anytime we do a new feature, we get to see the coating that we didn't do. So you can just click here, hold your control, you click here, so that you can come and create the appearance, which is it was a fabric wood. What type of wood? I hope we still remember the wood. So that it was a polished oak. So I've been able to get this. We have been able to get this particular area done. So this is it. Then we also try to see how we can put an opening in this side. So since we have been able to do this like this now as it is, so the next thing, we'll click here, we'll click on sketch. Watch please. Then we are going to click on convert entity. Like we are making this, we have converted entity. We click features. Then you have something like this. So now click extrude. So we're going to extrude this, but we'll click blind and we'll just include 5. So we have something like just 5, just extruding it out. Okay, it was not meant to join, so I'll go to edit feature. I don't want it to join, so I'm not merging it rather. So I'll click OK. Then the next thing, I'll click here, I'll click on sketch again, then I'll click on convert entity, then I'll click features and I'll click extrude. I want to extrude it out. T5. I don't want to merge it. Not merged. Okay, so I have something like this. So I've been able to do something like this. What's the next step? I want to make a little adjustment. So I'll click on right plane again. I'll click on my right plane. Then I'll click sketch. I'll click on right plane, I'll click sketch. So the next step is I'll use my sketch lines to produce something like this. I'll zoom in so you can see. Watch please. I'll use this line. Please watch. From here I'll bring this. I'll zoom in. I'll just bring this out a little. I'll do this. Watch please. And I'll do this. And I'll get this. So if it's not looking straight for you, you can just click escape, then click this and make horizontal. So I've been able to get something like this. Then first, the dimension is, I'll dimension this, the longest first, as I always do, 191.57. I'm okay with that. Then the next is this, I'm going to dimension this 7.1. Then the next is, in this dimension will be 15.20, 15.20. So I'll bring this down a little to 15.20. Then the next is to dimension this area. This area is 178.4. And in this side I'll dimension it. Okay, we already know the total, so this side I'll dimension it. Okay, it's already dimensioned. Why? Is because we have already given a total length, so we have been able to get this. So when you do that, we have gotten this particular area now. So you come to features, you click on revolve. So where are we revolving? Watch. So I'll click here. I'm going to revolve it like this. As you can see, then I'll have something like this. So I've been able to get this. This is what I've been able to do. I've been able to get this. Then watch, we know our metal now, so this will click here, hold your control, click here, still holding your control, you click here. Then we'll go to appearance. There we are moving with open metal. So what type of metal? A rod. So we have something like this. So that's it. So I've been able to get this. We have been able to get this particular area for this job. Okay, so since I've been able to do this part, let me move to the handle, just one of the hand. Let's see what we can do. So normal right plane now, right plane, sketch. So this is what I want to do now. Let me create something. Watch with my line. Please watch. So I'll do something like this. I'm supposed to, okay, I'll do something like this, and this. Please watch. Then I'll use this line to from here to here. Get. Then I'll go to smart dimension. I'll dimension the longest from here. I'll make it 68.64. Enter. Okay. Then here is going to be 14.60. Okay. Then here is going to be, it's not perfect. It's not going to perfect. 5.20. So okay. Good. So after that, I want to see what we can do. So then I want to also check the distance from here, from this point to this point. I want to make it 9.05. Let me confirm something. So yes, I'm good with this. Then I go to my features, I click on extrude. Then I'll make it a mid plane. Then I will extrude it to 20, something like this. I don't know, should I merge it? I shouldn't merge it, no. Okay, so I'll have something like this. Then after this, I go to my right plane again. I'll use the right plane again to see what I can be able to do. I'll use the right plane, click on sketch. I'll click on sketch. Then I want to make the complete handle now. So I want to make the handle. So we have to be very careful at this particular point. This here, watch please. Do something like this. I'll stop. I come to line. So this particular place will require how good you are with the software. Good. Then I'll dimension it so that we don't encounter those kind of stress we had the other time. So I'll make a 9.60. Then I'll come here. I'll make a 11.12. Wow. Then I'll come to this place. I'll use a 3-point arc, because we have to be very careful at this particular point, because I think this point is also one of the areas that will get you to like give you the beauty of this particular work. So come to dimension, that's a 3-point arc. Then I adjusted it. The here is 26.76. Is it 26.76? Then now I want to use the spline. This particular point, this area, you have to be very careful. This is the beauty of, this is going to be the beauty of the job, because if you get to do it, properly, this is going to be one of the beauty of the job. So the spline, so I'm going to use a spline. I'll click here. I'm going to come down a little, then I'll click here. Then let's please be careful. Let's please be careful. Zoom in. I'll just bring my hand a little. I'm going to stop here. Then I'll click. I can decide to still move. I clicked on that area. I can decide to still move, but if it doesn't fit well, I will escape. I can still move a little. I'll move a little. I'll click here. Then after moving, I'll move a little again, still with my spline. So you have to be very careful this particular point. So at this particular point, I have to be careful. I click here, still with my spline. Let's see if I can get this done. Check. Then I'll tap escape. That was. I think I tried my best. Let me see if I can make a relationship between the two. I click here, hold control. I'll try if I can make it. If I can't, I'll just leave it. Let's see if I click on tangent. Okay, that was good. So I've been able to get this done. So just try your spline. Move on the pattern I moved. Then I go to extrude. Click on extrude boss. You see somewhere is open. Yeah, that's true. That somewhere is open. So we have to close that part. No. I have to close that part. It's an oversight, so I'll click sketch. So I'll click from here to here. So it's closed now. It's totally closed. So I go to features, extrude. So I'm going to extrude it. I don't think I'm going to merge it. I'm not merging it, but I can still decide to merge it. Then I'll click OK. So I've been able to get this particular job done. Let me add a little beauty to it. So for this one, it's the metal. If we're metal, we'll work with the metal. It's the metal. Then for this one now, this area, it is the wood. Okay, the wood. I pray we're not forgetting that the particular wood we're using, not polished cherry. Is it this wood? What is the name of that wood we're using? So that's not the wood we're using. This is not the wood we're using. Okay, that's the wood we're using. So we have been able to get this particular area. So if you click on your Ctrl 7, so you have something like this. So if you zoom it like this, so I've been able to get this area, this region. I told you, if you make any mistake, it will show on the handle. So Ctrl 7, we have something like this. Okay, so after we have done the handle, the next part or the next area I want to work on is, I'll still go to my right plane. I want to see how I can complete this region. I'll be doing 3 revolves at once. So first I just come here, use a corner rectangle. I'll come to this area and I'll produce something like this. Then not a big deal. You come, so it's going to be small. Don't mind the way mine is looking. So just something small. Come dimension here 213.47. 213.47. I'll come here. I'll dimension it 2.32. So I've been able to get that. Then I'll just say from here to here. Let me see if I can give 3. Just 3. I'm okay with that. Click OK. Then I'll go to features. I'll click on revolve. Where am I going to use as my reference? I will use here. going to use there as my reference. Now click good. So I have something like this now. Then then the second again, I'll click right plane, sketch. Please watch, just pay attention to this. I'll come here, corner rectangle, this. Then also I'll dimension this here. I'll dimension it 41.86. Then I'll dimension this. I'll dimension that 10.53. Then also, so after that, I try to see if I can create a relation from here to here, 70.220. So I have something like this. Then I click on features again, click on revolve, then I click here, then I check. I'll add appearance to all this so that you can be able to get whatever we're doing correctly. Then the next is to get this done. Still on my right plane again. Still on the right plane. I use my line, so just know how to use your lines properly anyway. So from here up to here, here. So we have this, then we start to see how we can dimension. Then smart dimension, I'll click here, it's 9.50, and then you come here 9.39, 72.68. Then I come to this area, this, so escape. So I come to this line, dimension, I come to this line, I'll dimension it 17.01. No? Okay, that should be 17.01. Then mind you, if you zoom in properly from here to this region, I'll dimension it 4.18. Come down a little. Very good. 4.18. Then anything else. Then this distance, I think we're supposed to get an accurate distance. That should be 12.88 meter. Then exactly. So I've gotten this. So I'll go to features and I'll click on revolve. I'll click here. So I should be able to have something like this. And I check. Now after getting something like this, you know, all the appearance, we have to make them look like the metal. Hold control, click, and I'll come to appearance. The last appearance we used was the wood, so come here. So I've gotten to this stage. As you can see, we have been able to get to this particular stage. The next thing, we'll start seeing how we can create the connections between all of them. Then we now put the second where the magazine comes in. Then that's it. So okay, so since we have been able to do that, let's see what we can be able to do at this top, this area. So I'll use a right plane, and I'll click on sketch. I'll try to see I can be able to sketch something. It's not looking hard. So from this point, please watch, from this point I come down, then I'll from here again, matching to here, and I have this, then I tap escape. Then I use a three-point arc, then from here to here I have something like this. So since I'm able to do something like this, then the next step is to dimension from this point to this particular point, I'll dimension in 9, then check. So we are all on track. Then I go to features, I click on extrude, then I keep it on mid plane, then the thickness will be 18.50. so I have something like this. Then I check. Okay, they asked me about I don't think it should be meshed, so I'll check. So I should have something like this. As you can see, I have something like this. Then I would like to see how I can be able to cut out this part. There's this part I need to cut out, this sharp point. So I can click here and click on sketch, so you'll be seeing this area, but I have to rotate it. Watch. So I can click here and click on convert entity, then click here, also click on convert entity. Then I'll use a trim entity to see what I can be able to do. I'll just be moving like this. I'll remove this. Watch please. I use my trim entity, remove this. So I have something like this, as you can see. So this is what I have exactly. Then I'll go to features and I'll click on extrude cut. Immediately I click on extrude cut, these are the regions I want to cut out. You can see. So that's the region I want to cut out. Then I click check. So I've been able to do something like this. So then this now I'm going to see how I'll be able to make it look like the metal we're using. So, and that's wrought iron. So I've been able to get this done. Then we also see how we can be able to do the next job. Okay, so let's see how we can be able to fill up some gaps, like this kind of gap, and then this gap. Let's see how we can be able to fill them. So if I click here and I'll click on sketch, so you zoom in so that you can get to see. So once you just click on it, you just zoom in. I just want to fill up all these gaps, so I'll click on convert entity. So if I click on convert entity, I'll click features and I'll click on extrude boss base. The direction will just be blind, or up to surface. So it will just lap immediately on the surface, and this is the surface. You see, so it clicks here. Then if it rotates to the other side, it will also click here. You get. Then you check. Don't merge it. So click OK, because most of the objects are not merged. So now after doing this, we have another job again we want to fill. So I'll rotate and I'll click here and I'll click on sketch. So if I click on sketch, and I'll click on convert entity. So when I click on that convert entity and I'll click features, extrude. So when I click on extrude, I'll click on up to surface again. So you uncheck this your merge, so you don't get to merge it. Then you click OK. So you have been able to get this now. So since we know the different shapes, so we have here. So the metal, what metal are we using? We're using wrought iron. So we have been able to get this particular area of the gun. So then we also proceed to the next part. Okay, so after we have done with that particular job, what we'll try to do, watch, as you can see, you can rotate your work. So we have gotten to this stage. So the next thing for us to do, we are going to click on right plane, then you click on sketch. Now when you click on right plane, you click on sketch, zoom in properly so you can see. We'll come to this area, this drop down arrow. We use a corner rectangle. Click on corner rectangle, we zoom in, we click here, and we drop down like this to get something like this. Now watch, you dimension this for me. You dimension this. I'm going to dimension it 6.37. 6.37. Are we on the right dimension? Because I wanted it to lap on the surface. I wanted it to lap on the surface. Like there should be a relationship, so I can escape it. If I'm not okay with that escape, I'll just drag it down. Let it just be on top of this, like create a little relationship. So I'm okay with this. I click on smart dimension. I click here to here. I'll use 3.02. 3.02. Okay, that's the distance. Then from here, this length, I'll use 7.09. 7.09. Check. Then watch please. Then after I've been able to, you can zoom out so you can see it properly. After I've been able to do this, I'll go to features and I'll click on extrude. Extrude. I can rotate it a little. You see it's coming out like this, but this is not what I want. So I'll click on mid plane. Mid plane, you can see now it's in the center, but I'll make the thickness 5, just the thickness of 5, just the thickness of 5, mid plane. Then I check. I now have something like this, as you can see. I now have something like this, very very small. I now have something like this. Then watch please. Then I don't like as it is like this. I want to make it lap on this surface. So what do I have to do? I'll come here. Watch please. I'll come here. I'll click here, and I'll click. See this? Click sketch. You zoom in so that you can go back to it, because it's a very little interface compared to how big the work is. So I'll zoom in. I'll click that part again. I'll click on convert entity. So that means I want to sketch on that surface. Then I'll click features. Then I'll click extrude again. Extrude, but this time I'm not going to extrude to any particular length. So I'll just tell them up to surface. Up to surface. So what's the surface? This is the surface I want to use. So watch. You see, when going up to surface, see what it's creating. See this pattern. Then I click OK. Then you not merge it. It's not merging. Up to surface, don't merge. Check. So I have something like this. Then we all know now, as we all know, this feature. Hold your control. Go this feature. We know our material from the previous video, wrought iron. So you see how it's looking. Just sketch up to surface, and you see how you can produce that. So we now have something like this. Are you guys see what I'm showing? Okay, so after we have been able to do this particular extrude to the surface, so the next thing we'll do again is to click on right plane, click on sketch. We have something like this. We have something like this. You zoom in. You zoom in. Next, you come to this corner rectangle. Watch. We do something like this. Then click on smart dimension. You click this. Let's see, 5.36. Have something like this. Then you click on features. You click revolve. We'll revolve here. You can see. Click OK. So we have with this now. We have something like this. You can see. After getting something like this, the next step, you click here, you click here, you click on sketch, just like what we did last time. Then you click on convert entity, you click on convert entity, then you move to features and click extrude to surface. Now click here, that's the surface. Watch. I check. Okay, don't merge it. Don't merge it. Check. So we have something like this now. As you can see, you know the color now. For that, this, hold your control, click this. So we have something like that. Then the next step, go to right plane. Right plane. Click on sketch. Watch. Please watch. I use this corner rectangle from here. Let's say from here. Watch, please. Smart dimension. I have something like this. I'll dimension it 12.24. Then from here, I'll get 43.44. Then the distance from here to here is 9 point. Okay. You know why I'm showing that? Because I created a relationship between here. So there's a relationship I created. So except I removed that relationship. There's a relationship, I kept it in the middle. So if I come here now, I click on revolve like this. Watch, this is what happens. This is what happens. You see? So I get something like this. I see it. So this is what I've been able to get. Then the next step, watch please, so that I can add the appearance so it looks better. This now, what do we call that? Is it wood? Okay. Is it what is it, polish? Is it this? Okay. So you get to see. So I've been able to do this part now. So after we have been able to do this part, like now we now get to see how the gun, just the AK-47 looks like. We have been able to do some parts, so we then get to see something like this. Then the next step is for us to come to right plane, sketch, we zoom in, we then have something like this now. Please zoom in properly, we create something like this. As I will always say, I prefer to dimension the longest part first. So dimension, I'll get a click 40.14. Okay, 40.14. Then here I'll make it 20.43. Then here will be 14.52. Then the angle from here to here 15.24. No, it's not supposed to be so that's very wrong. Escape. It's positioned like this. So let me go right again from here to here. 15.24 like this. The inside is the dimension inside. 15.24. Then also this point to this point here. Not this. This point here, there's a point here. If you zoom in, take your cursor close, there's a point here. This, so I'll make it 9.11. I have something like this. Then I'll zoom this, bring it out so that you can get to see. Let me bring it out so you get to see. This is the area. What else? So this is to this point. Like this is 6.55. So 6.55, you are done with something like this. Then the next step is go to features, click on extrude. You click on extrude, just bend it a little. You click on mid plane. What's the extrude? 15. So the extrude 15, we have something like this. Check. It's not merging to anywhere. Now I told you earlier now, so you can click here to help us. If you don't want to redo it again, just click here, click sketch. If you don't want to go through the process of giving us putting the rectangle, so you just have to click on the surface, click here, convert entity. Then the next step, you click on features, then you click on extrude. When you click on extrude, what's the next step? You're not extruding up or down, just click on up to surface, this. So you get to see a preview. This is how it will look like. So you are extruding up to surface, you check. So if you have done that, I merged it. I don't want to merge it. I have my reasons why I don't want to merge it. So I don't want to merge it, but you can still merge it if you want to. Check. We have something like this. If you want to merge it, so we have this. You can hold your control, then this. Then you come to this and use the material. It's even looking different from the normal material. Let's see if I can look for that one. I think it's okay. They are looking different. I can come to appearance here, right click and delete that. Also, and this too. Okay, this. I come to appearance, and anything you don't like, I come to your appearance. You click delete. So we get to. Okay, I don't need this. I don't want this appearance. I don't want it. So I want to remove it. So this is the appearance I want to use. This. I come here. Which material looks like it? Is it this? And this too. Okay. So we're okay with this now. So we're okay with it's not it. Which material is this? Okay, I've seen the material. So take this as entirely this and the material. You click extrude. Like you delete them, you don't need them. You can either do them individually. Come here, click, you come to this point, cancel, you come here, appearance, you come to this part, click on appearance, there is that appearance symbol, cancel, you come to this point, okay, this, you come to appearance, body, all parts, no, okay, remove all parts, okay, this, they were asking if I should remove all parts, yes, I want to remove it, so I go over it again, this, 1, 2, 3, I'm looking for the right appearance we used for that particular work. Oh, when we are finally done, we'll settle that. So I've been able to get this part of the AK-47. Then the next part is for us to see how we can be able to create an opening. So since we have been able to do this, now I'll try to see how I can be able to be splitting my screen to show you the other job I have. Now I'll come to this area, watch, I'll use a right plane, I'll click on sketch. Sorry, it's reacting slow. Then watch, as I said earlier, I'll be splitting the screen, so I'll show you this. Now I also pay attention to the distancing. Now this distance, it has a distance, so we're using this as our own case study because I've done this before. So it's going to be 2.59, and from here to here it's going to be 9.09. So since we have been able to get that, watch please, I'll come to this our original job here. I'll come to this job, I'll use a center rectangle, like or like let's corner rectangle. I'll produce something like this. Let's then dimension this side. I'll make it 28.91. Sorry, 23.91 is kind of long. 23.91. Okay. Very long. It's very long compared to what we have here. Okay. This side, this region is much came out more. So let's reduce this to 17. Okay. Then dimension from here to here, I'll make it 2.59. Then this, I'll make it 11.47. I'll take it up a little. I have something like this. I'm okay with this. So I'm okay with this. Just to cross check. Okay. Then I moved to this. Sorry about that. I move to this and I click on features. I click extrude cut. Where am I cutting? So I'll just keep it on the mid plane, just pierce through, and I have something like this. Material, don't forget now our material. So I have to click on it. Now our material will come here. So we're back. So we now have something like this. So I clicked on Ctrl Z to remove it. So I click Ctrl Y. I should be able to bring it back. Now, so after doing that, the next step, as I said, we'll use this one that I've done as a case study. Let's see the next step. Okay. So what did I do there? Come to this region. Please watch. So for this, I just need to know the dimension. Radius is 6.19. Distance 12.39. Okay, so I'll come back to this our job. So I can decide to use this plane, this front plane sketch. So I have something like this. So I zoom in properly. I take from line from here to here, escape. The 3-point arc from here to here. I have something like this, escape. Then dimension from here, I make it 12.39. We have to see how we can have something like this, so that we don't say one side is then I put a radius of 6.19. Okay, so 6.19 is into 6 points. It's there already. So we have something like this. So let's confirm if the distance from here, what's the distance from here to here? Distance from here to here is 15. So if the distance from there to there is 15, so let's see if we can try something like this. So say from here to here. So let's try something. So let the radius be 15 minus So we're supposed to do 15 minus 12.39, the answer divided by 2. So if we have 15 minus 12.39 will give us 2.61, divided by 2 will give us 1.305. So let's make it 1.305. So if we come here, we're supposed to have the same thing here. No, not that. From here to here, the same thing. So we are good to go. So that's how. Just know the distance, then this distance. So click features, click extrude cut. So we are going to cut. We are going to cut through. Oh, I thought I did my sketch. Okay, I'll do up to surface, up to surface, up to surface. I thought I did my sketch on the plane, but I'll do up to surface. So reverse, so that the direction, what the surface, this is the surface. You see? So we thank God that nothing. I hope something do not. If something is touching it, it will cut on it. Let's see. Let me see how this plane is. If something is touching it, to cut on it. Oh no. If anything is touching on it, to cut on it. So I want to confirm. It's touching it a little. Let's see, cut. See, that's a hard. I see that cut, of which is not supposed to be there. But we have. But let's click here. You know the material. This. So we've been able to get something like this. Then after that, so after we have been able to get this part, the next thing we are supposed to do, let me make this bright. So the next thing, I'll come to right plane. I'll click on right there, I'll click sketch. So I have something like this now. So I'll zoom in, please watch. I'll use this, I'll produce something like this. Watch. So I'll click on sketch. Yeah, 25.49. Then the next thing, I'll come here, dimension, I'll make here 11. Escape, it gets scattered, as you all know. Then you have something like this. Then I'll dimension here 4. Our dimension here 7.60. Then our dimension here. Okay, it's already dimensioned. So to be able to have, then the distance between this and this should be 2.32. Okay, so it should come out in little like this. It should be like this. Then I'll click on features, I'll click extrude. So let me confirm the thickness of extrude from this. Okay, let me confirm the thickness for extrude for this. So the extrude, no, not this, this extrude. So the extrude will be 15. The extrude is going to be 15. So when we come here, please watch, sorry. When we come here now, we come to fit extrude. Once we click on extrude, we click on mid plane 15. So we have something like this. check. You can see. Then please watch, we have been able to get something like this. Now what's the next thing? We come here, we click here, we click sketch, like it will rotate and show us that the top view. Sorry, it's reacting slow. Okay, so you have to zoom in. When you zoom in, you don't want to produce this, you just click convert entity, you click features, you click extrude. So where are we extruding to? Up to surface, up to this surface. You can see, if you want to merge it, check, it's merged. So we have something like this. Now since you have been able to get something like this, now we'll go and put appearance, click here, hold control, click here, then click on this appearance, we have something like this. So I've been able to get something like this. Then from what I did the other time, I clicked here, I click sketch, I don't want to do it again. I just click on convert entity, like I've converted this part. So I'll click on features, extrude. So I'll just tell them up to surface, so up to this surface, and I'll have something like this. So the same principle. So I've been able to get this part done. So we're close, we'll soon be done with this particular job. So 7, so we'll have something like this. So since we have been able to get that, the next step, I'll come again, I'll come to right plane, I'll click sketch. So I'll have that plane. I want to put a hole where the bullets could come out from. So, but this is how I'll start. I'll zoom in. I'll use a corner rectangle to produce something like this. Just something like this. I'll dimension here from this point to this. I'll make it 5.66. I have something like that. Then from here, I'll dimension here 7.8. And I'll dimension here 3.87. I'll check, I'll click on features, I'll click revolve, I'll click here, I'll click OK. I'll click OK, I'll be able to revolve. So this is what I did. I was able to do the revolve. Then I'll click here, I'll click sketch. I'll click here. I'll use a cycle. I'll look for the origin, that is the center now. Click here. I dimension this cycle 10.88. So I have something like this. And I'll click on features, click extrude cut. I'll use blind. Let me see, I built a distance of 230. So the cut will go through. Extrude cut. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So that's this. Hold my control. I click here. I click on appearance. When we're on meta, what were we using? So click on meta. What were we using? That's it. So I've been able to get this. So let's see how we can take out the next tags. I'll come again, I'll click on right plane, I'll click sketch. I'll zoom in. Use line. I'll create this first, this, then I'll come down, I'll do this, escape, use line, I'll click here, I'll come down, escape, I'll use spline. From here I'll have something like this. Skip. I'll escape. Okay, I'll click here, I'll escape. I'll do it again, I'll go over it again. Spline. You have to be very careful at this particular point so you can be able to get the curve properly. Click here. Just like when we did the magazine, this is not supposed to be a hole. Click here. Try our best. Click here. Skip. Let's see. We escape. Then we'll adjust it. We'll try to see how we can be able to adjust it. Adjust it. No, it's not looking good. So let's delete this. It's not looking good. So let me see if I can use a 3-point arc to get it done. Let's use 3-point arc from here to here. Let's get this. So I'm able to get this. Then let me dimension this. Let me dimension some parts also. So this I said I'm going to dimension it 31.08, and that's the longest. So every other body should, every other person is going to fit in place. Every other person is going to fit, like adjust. So you come to dimension 5.33. Then here 2.20. So that's okay. Then here is 8.87. 8.87. Okay. Let me see. Let's see how we can get this done. Use a 3-point arc from here to here. Adjust it carefully. Adjust it carefully. You have to be very careful at this particular point. Let's see. It's responding as though it's a full arc. It's responding as though it's a full arc. Let me treat it like a full arc. So 3-point arc. I click here. Now just getting there. It's responding as though it's a full arc. So let me treat it as such. Ouch. I tapped escape by mistake. So I'll click here. It's responding as there is a full arc. So like this. Like this. Escape. Then let's see if I can use spline here. From here to here. Spline work. Let's use a 3-point arc again to play with. Let me just play with 3-point arc with this for this one. So from here I'll do something like this. Zoom in, feel free to zoom in. It's just a small part that plays a lot of roles. So from here 3-point arc. So from here if I click here, let it come like this, something like this is okay. It's not perfect, it's really not perfect, it's not really looking very perfect. But let's see, from here I click here, hold control and I click here. Let's see if I can make a tangent, whether be smooth curve. Then let me see if I come here, I click here, I hold control, I click here. Let me see if I can have that curve. Okay, it's okay. If you get to this point, you are good to go. If you get to this point, you are good to go. Let's see if I can. Okay, let me just put 11.88. So that yes, you guys are feeling you have a little form of direction, but it's looking very far from each other. Let's see if I can come up with something. So see okay, let me make this a perfect call. Hold control and click here. We have something like this. Yeah, okay. It's looking somehow. It's not looking good. So you keep on adjusting till you get what you're looking for. So it's okay now. It's okay. Then if I want to switch screen, just to check the thickness of the other. This other guy that I've done earlier. So it's a mid-plane 10. So just come here. So come here as it is like this. We'll click on mid-plane. Okay, some persons will say I did not put the dimension. So let me just put a little dimension. 2.81. It's okay. So let me just go to features, extrude box. It's a very tiny mid-plane. Look at now. I said it's tiny, so don't make it 10. So you see, just here you check. This is the job. I've not colored this part. Why is it affecting me? Why is it giving like this? So I'll color it. So this is it. Okay guys, there's something I observed immediately we did this gun, and I want us to rectify it. Please watch. You see this, it's not a complete entity, it's a separate part. They are not meshed together, but I think there's a little issue. So if I click here, this is the job. Now let's go over the sketch. So look, this is the sketch first. Let's go over the sketch so that we can be able to understand ourselves. So this is the sketch. If you remember, if you can go back to it, you see this is sketch. We are correct. I'm not making any adjustment on the sketch. I'm not making any adjustment. I just want to. Then this is the extrude. So I'll check. This is the extrude. The extrude is supposed to be 22. So if you click on extrude to be 22, then we check. So we should have something like this. There should be a little gap between them. Just a little gap between them that differentiates this. That differentiates this from this. You get this is it. So just see how you can work on that. If you go to 7, we have something like this.